It's funny, like Jay said earlier, what did Les Brown say? Anything worth doing, you got to be willing to do badly until you get better or get it right or whatever it was. I'm gonna show up here willing to do this badly, get better every week in order to come back and speak and bring these stories, these lessons, whatever this becomes. This is the Pizza King podcast. I'm Tyrell Reed, Pizza King, restaurant owner, pizzeria owner, franchise executive, dad, husband, soccer coach, just regular guy sharing my experience. I've been in the pizza game for over 20 years. I've led teams of one and teams of, thousands. So I'm happy to be here. I appreciate every single person that hears this, that listens, that reaches out to me. I got some really good feedback from episode 1 last week. So looking to carry that forward. I got 3 things again. I won't, I won't waste anybody's time in doing this because it's important. We'll get right into it. Again, reach out if you got topics you want to discuss, you got, questions you want to ask me. Don't ever be afraid to reach out to me. I am 100% reachable. Definitely open to talking to anybody. Folks have called me on Instagram, sent me messages, reached out, we've emailed, we've, set up Zoom calls. So reach out if you want to talk about what you do, you want to talk about your business. There is a link on my website to schedule a 45-minute strategy session. If you're looking for some team building advice specifically, I can help you out, give you a complete plan for building the next level team. So there are ways to get with me, TyrellReed.com. Follow me on Instagram, Tyrell Reed Senior, Tyrell Reed, the Pizza King. And let's connect. I'm happy to help. I love doing this. Today I want to talk about, leadership like always, but specifically things that you just can't ever do as a manager or as a leader. Like it's a tough job as is. Like building a team, leading a team, being the go-to person, being the person who is accountable and responsible for the success or failure of a pizzeria is an important job. It's a process. It's a learning process. I'm here to tell you, as someone who's done it, who's been through it, still living it. Now we own a shop here in Brandon. My partner JR runs it. He's the absolute best operator I've ever met in my entire life. And they let me come in and play a pizza guy on Instagram sometimes. So he'll tell you, I got to get Jay to come on here, but he'll tell you this is an everyday game, right? And there's some things that you just can't do if you want to be successful here. So I wanted to talk about a couple of those things from my point of view, from my perspective. So top 3 things, I think in threes. I always like threes. I don't know why, but 3 things, and we'll let you get right back to it. First one, and I got my list. Don't keep my list. I'm a note taker. I probably got, just from what I can see here in the office, 10 of those pads around me. So I love taking notes, but that's not on the list. First one on the list, don't ever be afraid to make mistakes. And more importantly, don't skip on the opportunity to share the lessons from those mistakes with your team. You gotta hold yourself accountable. Like, don't hide it. Don't sweep stuff under the rug. Be open, because if our job as leaders is to create more leaders, you create leaders by passing on the lessons, and the best lessons to pass on are the lessons that we learn from the mistakes. So we can't hide those. We can't be closed off and afraid to share our failures because of how it may be perceived. I'm the boss. I don't make mistakes. It can't be like that. And I'm guilty of that. So guilty of that. It was so bad. And what I did in a satirical way or to be funny probably sent the wrong message too many times, because when I was running the store, I would say, I don't make mistakes. I was terrible. So ridiculously cocky. So I don't know why. I would say, I don't make mistakes. If you see me making a mistake, it's not a mistake. It's the way we do it this time. and like, to say something like that was so wrong, because you can't have a different standard as a leader. Well, no, I'll take that back. You can't operate below standard and make it okay as a leader. The only time it's acceptable to operate outside of standard is when you go above and beyond standard. So above and beyond is the only thing, it is the only acceptable deviation from the standard. You improve the standard, that becomes a lesson. If for whatever reason we do something below standard, that's a mistake, and that's something that we should be sharing as a lesson publicly, especially as a leader publicly. If somebody else makes a mistake, you correct it on the spot, but you can teach the lesson or have the conversation privately. So that's number one. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to use the lesson from that mistake as a guide for the team. So do the job with integrity. Be a leader who creates leaders by giving a lesson from the mistake. And the second one, I guess it really falls on those same lines of integrity. And the note says, I wrote, don't ever gossip. But I think the real thing should say, don't ever talk behind somebody's back unless you're saying good things about them. Don't be the person or the leader that is saying negative things about someone behind somebody's back, because it's one of those things that you just can't come back from. You know what I mean? Like, so I was talking to my wife once. She was telling me a story about, and she'll probably kill me if she'll hear this, but it'll be okay. She had a manager at some point in her career, she had a manager say, in confidence to her, man, I can't stand so-and-so, or this person is asking so many questions. I'm paraphrasing so as not to misquote or, be too specific about it. But something to the effect of, man, I can't stand this so-and-so because they're always asking questions, or they're always got to do this. And she's in the back of her mind. And when we talked about it, she's like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, damn, does he say stuff like that about me? And what he didn't realize, he or she, I should say, what they didn't realize was, in that moment of probably just trying to be vulnerable, trying to express themselves, trying to let off some steam or whatever it may be, vent, you lost all trust. And in a team environment, trust is the only currency there is. Like, if you can't trust your leader, a leader needs to trust his team, a team needs to trust their leader. That is the only currency there is. Everything is measured on the degree of trust I have in you. If I trust you, if I know you can do something, I trust you more, I can give you more. If I know that you're going to help me through something, I trust you. I can open up about something that I'm struggling with. If trust is destroyed, and trust is, it can be built, but when it's lost, it's an all or nothing thing. Then it becomes something that needs to be rebuilt. And that's a tough one to come back from as a leader. That's probably one of the hardest ones to come back from. And you build it by just doing what you say you're going to do over time, and being vulnerable, being open, apologizing. But that was an interesting one, and I'll never forget that story, because I don't think that he was ever able to earn her trust back just based on that one situation. And who knows how many other times that may have happened if no one tells you, no one checks you on, hey man, I feel like you might say something like that about me when I'm not around. I really think so-and-so should be here when you speak about them. So, it takes some accountability on that part. Don't talk bad about anybody behind their back. If you got feedback for somebody on your team, give it to them directly, and give it to them constructively, so that you can move the business forward, or move the project forward, or move, the overall direction and performance of the team forward to a higher level. Don't gossip. There's no place for it. Don't do it. And then the last one, and I mean, it's pretty sure we'll get out of here. The last one is share the love. Share the love. Don't ever skip an opportunity to share the love. What's the love? The love is whatever. If you get in the ball, if you're successful, your team's thriving, you're a manager, you're earning bonus, you need to be, I can't tell you what to do with your money, but if that were me, I'd be sharing. If I got $100, I'm gonna take $20 and do something for the team, get some pizzas, or not get some pizzas, but you know what that means. Get something for the team. Take 50, go, trade something with another restaurant, find a way to share. But then the second thing, and probably the most important way to share the love, is through recognition. Like, it doesn't have to be, and I'm talking like anything from, hey, you're doing a great job, to the whole formal employee of the month, put your picture on the wall, plaque, cake, celebration. If it's in the budget to do it like that, it's effective. You got to find a way to recognize people for the good things that they're doing. We used to do, and I pulled it out. You wouldn't believe how much people love these little pen. Oh, and don't hit the mic. This little pen. To get that meant like somebody saw what I was doing. It says you make a difference. Somebody saw what I was doing. We give them out, like one person every month will get it. Somebody saw what I was doing. They recognized that. And now I get to wear it proudly. They throw it on the apron or on the hat or whatever. And that's dope. That's small. I remember Paul must have been telling me, I know it was Paul because they were talking about doing it at one of the Black Rocks. So he said one of his area guys would keep a bunch of $2 bills on them, and he would pass out these $2 bills if he ever, he just like catch somebody doing good and throw them a $2 bill. And that became like this, like almost this symbol of, of praise and of excellence. Like, how many could you collect? Like, and that's a small thing. But you catch somebody doing something good and you give them a token and you say, look, I see you. Now there should be, different levels and varying levels of recognition and how people are compensated for that. I'm not here to get into that today, but I want to just tell you that you should be taking care of your people. You should be recognizing them for what they're doing. So that's my list. Appreciate you. Let's recap it. Number 1, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Number 2, don't talk trash about people behind their backs. Don't do that. That's just terrible. And number 3, share the love. Take care of your folks. They're going to look out for you. you should make sure you look out for them in any way that you can. Again, thank you for your time, Pizza King. Go check me out, TyrellReed.com. Book a call. Follow me on Instagram. Leave a comment, like, share, all that good stuff. You know, we trying to grow this thing every single week. So appreciate the time. Appreciate your time, and I'll check you out next week. Peace.